start the show talking about the 3 girls who died after being attacked while they were in a dance class in Southport on Monday morning. The front pages pay tribute to them. The Sun here calls them the Lost Angels, as there they are. 6-year-old Bebe King, 7-year-old Elsie Dot Stancombe, and 9-year-old Alice Dasilva Aguiar. The Mirror, keep smiling, keep dancing. The words shared by Alice's family as they pay tribute to their daughter. Guardian again quotes a resident saying, "You can't help but cry." Talks about the tributes. It's a reference to a vigil held in Southport last night. And there's the Telegraph. This is a different angle because this is about almost a counter-protest, which is a reference to a clash between police and what seems to be supporters of the far-right group, the English Defence League. We will come to that. But we're back with the actual tragedy, Carol. It is just awful.
You know, it's one of those things that you just, it's been on my mind, I'm sure the minds of most people in this country since the minute it happened. You cannot imagine how the parents are coping with this, you know. Throughout my life, I've worked with a lot of parents whose kids have been murdered, and you just, you know, their life ends at that moment, you know, the parents. It's something you never, ever get over. For your child to die so violently, so hideously, the fear, the terror, you know, it's something with little kids. You know, there's a part of me is incredibly sad. There's a part of me incredibly angry that you know, kids are an easy target. You know, they can't fight back. They don't know what's coming. They stand no chance at all. And what's impressed me in reading the papers today is the people who tried to help them. You know, the people in the where they were. You know, the teacher and the other lady. And there was another guy who actually stopped his van, ran actually into the building to try and get to these kids. Sadly, he was too late. But you know, people are incredible. You know, these stories throw up the most incredible sadness, but also they throw up stories of heroism and the things that people will do to save kids. And it's just, you know, you can't be in the minds of those parents at the moment because it won't even have hit home yet, not really. And
we don't know much about the alleged perpetrator, but...
Well, yeah.
17? What's going... Do you start to think about the nature of evil here, Phil?
Well, you do, and when you get terrible tragedies like this, you do think of human nature as the worst of human beings, the worst of human nature. But in a way, we step back from that thought, and you touched on it. We also see the very best of human beings and the very best of human nature. You know, one deranged individual, and we don't know his motives, who brought these 3 lives to an end and other people still fighting for their lives in hospital. We mustn't forget those. And the trouble with the mob last night, they've taken attention away from those in hospital, and our thoughts are with the grieving parents. But yes, the good that comes out of it, there's one deranged individual, a few hundred people in the mob of violence last night, but thousands of people at the vigil, the ambulance workers, the firefighters, the nurses and the doctors, all coming together and showing the very best of human nature, the very best of humankind. You can see
the vigil there.
The Southport emergency services were incredible. They were on the scene literally within minutes of this happening. It was amazing. But, you know, you talk about evil. You want to talk about evil, you talk about the people, you know, on social media who exploit times like this. And this information, false information that was put out last night, which sparked this riot. You know,
what did it come from Russia?
Yeah, they put out a fake name of somebody, a fake, you know, background, and so mobs took to the streets, and you know that kind of exploitation of kiddies' deaths is just beyond belief. That's the real evil in all of it.
Because there's a lot, understandably, there's a lot of pent-up anger. It's directed in all over the place. So the perpetrator being the obvious target. But Prime Minister Keir Starmer travelled to Southport yesterday to lay a wreath at the scene of the stabbing, and while doing so, a man was shouting questions at him. Have a look.
How many more children are going to die in our streets, Prime Minister? How many more children? How many more children, Prime Minister? Are we going to do something? Time to change, Stormer. Come on, it's needed. How many more children? Is it mine next?
I don't know who that was. I feel like if you're laying a wreath, that should be a rather sacred moment. I don't know.
I mean, that person was clearly responding to the stories that have gone around on social media. That this person, the murderer, came across on a boat, and they're responding.
You think so? I don't know about that.
It sounds well. He's saying how many more children?
Yeah.
He's talking about the people who've been attacked by, migrants.
I just think the wreath laying has to be silent. That's all.
Yeah.
Starmer later thanked the emergency services and the first responders.
I came here to pay my respects to the victims and families, but also importantly, to have the opportunity to say to those that were responding yesterday from the emergency services, to say a personal thank you to them and to shake their hand, and to say that as Prime Minister, on behalf of the country, we are grateful for what they did. They, of course, say that they will respond, they're professionals, to anything, but there's no pretending that what they had to respond to yesterday was ordinary. It was very, very difficult of them. They were absolutely professional, and it was important for me to come and say simple words, thank you.
It's a very big moment for him, because when you're a politician, you're doing a lot of numbers, you're doing your budgets, tax spend. What you're not ready for or prepared for, and you can't be ready for, is a moment where you need to express other people's emotion.
And he did it very well. And we think of Theresa May, who didn't do it very well once.
Yeah, there was after Grenfell, she didn't greet the victims.
It's easy not to have that gravitas and that empathy that you need in that situation. And people shouting at him. I mean, what was it because of knife crime? I mean, whatever we think of him, whether we voted for him or not, he's only been in for 2.5 weeks. It's hardly anything that he can tackle straight away. So, as you say, the bit of reverence when he's actually come, representing us all, and we do need to step back and think of that we rally around as a nation, and he is the leader of our nation at the moment. And I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, our society's changed, because I remember John Major going up to lay flowers at Dunblane in the 90s, and no one was shouting at him. And you could have, maybe could have said he should have tightened up gun laws before, but it wasn't the moment for that. Online, a fundraiser for the victims' families started by a Taylor Swift fan has received now £250,000 and rising for the Alder Hey Children's Hospital charity, so that some of the children being treated, I gather, are at Alder Hey. As we said yesterday evening, hundreds of people from the local community gathered for a vigil in the town centre, and we can speak to somebody who was there last night. Reverend Marie Ann Kent is a minister at the local Methodist Church. Marie Ann, I don't know what you say to people in this situation.
I think what we say is we want to keep the focus on the vigil last night and the thousands of people who came out in solidarity with those who have lost their lives and with those who are seriously injured. We're a community that's speaking love and hope into a situation where others want to sow violence and discord. But Southport will rise above this. We're a people where we welcome all into our community, and we want to show that we stand together with those who mourn and weep today.
Yeah, and I held up the Sun's headline at the beginning because it shows these three girls. But you're reminded when you see that the lives taken will include, in a sense, as Carol said, their parents, because how do they recover, and their relatives and their friends, and the other people in the room who may feel strangely guilty often in the years to come that they were not taken themselves. So there's so many people who need counselling now.
There are. I mean, the ripple effect across Southport is huge. It's a town where everybody knows everybody, and the impact not just on as you said, the families, those who were there, the local community, which is a quiet residential area, and the emergency services. We all know somebody who was involved, and this impact will be for the long term. And there are lots of community groups stepping up, offering help, not just the faith community, the local churches, but loads of community groups are stepping up and just offering help at this time.
We mentioned earlier there was violence last night from a group of people against the police and the local community. The local MP, Patrick Hurley, has described them as beard up, out of town thugs, and we can see these pictures now they may have been misled by misinformation on social media. Marie-Anne, what is your message to them?
Well, I walked down to stand with the police on the right line, with the right police last night, and just to pray down there for that community. And my message is that we're not focusing on the hate. We're not wanting to give them the airtime. We're focusing on the love in Southport and the support that's being offered. This doesn't represent our community. It will never represent our community. We're much more than this. And Southport will show alongside the rest of the nation that this isn't us and we don't want to be part of this.
Thank you very much, Reverend Marie-Anne Kent. I wonder whether we're getting to a situation where if people share deliberately false information, there should be some sort of prosecution, Carol.
Completely, no, we saw this.
I'm talking about UK residents here, because if this thing started in Russia, you can't go after them.
I mean, you look at some of those people there on that film we've just seen. They're not grieving about dead children. They're just out there for a rook and a scrap, and that is totally and utterly disrespectful to the kids who've died, to their parents, to their families, to everyone. It's totally disrespectful. And if they had any empathy or feeling at all, they'd be walking down those streets in silence, giving support.
They'd be at the vigil, exactly.
They'd be there. They wouldn't be screaming, shouting the odds and setting fire to them. And there again, making the emergency services deal with that instead of what they should be
burning a
dealing
police
with.
van when police are trying to deal with a serious crime. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. You mentioned the unrest last night that's led to 39 police officers receiving treatment from the local ambulance service. 27 had to go to hospital. Keir Starmer has tweeted, "The people of Southport are reeling after the horror inflicted on them yesterday. They deserve our support and our respect. Those who've hijacked the vigil for the victims with violence and thuggery have insulted the community as it grieves. They will feel the full force of the law." The mother of Elsie Stancombe has reportedly shared online a plea for the violence to stop. Jenny Stancombe posted the message, "This is the only thing that I will write. Please stop the violence in Southport. The police have been nothing but heroic these last 24 hours. They don't need this." Let's speak to William in London on this. We're all reeling, aren't we, William?
Oh, it's a devastating tragedy. Words can't describe it. Of course, and obviously, apart from the children and their parents, it's the little brothers and sisters that won't understand that I'm really feeling for, because they won't get why this has happened, and obviously, grown-ups can't comprehend why this has happened. What I do want to say is I'm quite angry at some of the rhetoric. For my sins, I was watching GB News yesterday, and the word comes up, evil. To me, this wasn't an act of evil. We don't know the motivation, but to me, this was a 17-year-old lad. This was an act of insanity.
I thought you'd go the other way there, because what tends to happen is straight away people who are sane say, you've got to be mad to do that.
You do.
And yeah, but then we miss out the word evil, because actually evil needs to be used a bit more, doesn't it?
I disagree.
Hang on, Carol.
Excuse me, Carol Malone. You have a lot of say on these things.
I do. That's what I'm here for.
Please.
Yeah.
You're on the panel. I'm not. I get 2 minutes if I'm lucky to speak. So I'd like to use those 2 minutes, please.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So evil is calculated. Evil is like premeditated. I want to do something evil. I'm going to carry it out. This was something quite different to that, to my mind. This was deranged. And Phil used the word deranged.
I use the word. We don't. They'll get some experts in who'll diagnose something doubtless. Carol.
He says evil is calculated. Well, this was calculated. He decided what he was going to do. He ordered a cab. He got into the cab. He went to this location. Didn't just happen upon it by chance. He went there determined to kill children. So don't tell me that that's not evil.
Well, we don't know it. We don't know the motive, and we don't know his state of mind.
Well,
that's what
to say he was mentally ill, of course
I'd go with
ill.
evil, but
All
we really don't know his
Evil's
motive
the default, isn't it? Evil is the initial thought, and if at some point we hear evidence that he was insane, then that becomes... And we had the Valdo Calacane attacks where it was manslaughter because he was, really in a psychotic state, we were told. But, William, we don't... miss the impact of evil, can we? It does exist.
Until we've got the full evidence, I would refrain from using that word. I think it's overused. The other thing, I've got one very quick point to make, because I know you've got a lot of people to speak. What I was going to say is this notion, again, peddled by the right, of two-tier policing, which is, they were talking about it in the Leeds thing. They've been talking about Black Lives Matter, or all this kind of thing. Yesterday was the same thing. A bunch of thugs come in from the area, didn't even live there. Nobody got arrested. The police were massively outnumbered. The same thing as in Leeds. They were, end result. Nobody got arrested, and yet the framing of it by the right, there's two-tier policing because it's political correctness and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't.
When it's a bunch of white people.
Well, yeah.
This is
thank you, William. Thank you. We've got that. I mean, the poor old police. How were they to know you're going to have that sort of thuggery based on a tweet that seems to have started in Russia? Bill in Manchester, hi.
Hiya.
I was going to say, what do you think? We all think the same thing. This is absolutely dreadful, isn't it?
Yes, I think I don't know how to be policed mental as well as physical health checks on people as they're growing up. I don't want to just use the word evil. It means nothing. Adolf Hitler was evil, but if he'd been brought up differently, maybe he wouldn't have been. I don't know. What do we say? Human nature, what the hell's that? There's lots of human natures. I mean, we've seen many horrible things. We saw the Venables tragedy with the baby, the Soham, Norfolk, Ian Brady, Minor Hindley killed a 17-year-old gay man. These, thankfully, are very few and far between, but nevertheless, with the advent of all the mediums of social media and the way that people can be influenced, there may well be occasion. I don't know how it will be policed. I said that to you, researcher. Mental as well as physical checks on people as they grow up.
Well, yeah, the state doing that, I don't know. It's well, in a sense, we all are responsible for each other. We need to, if you have a younger brother or sister who's got a very long knife and is talking about violence, it may be on you to report that. I mean, I'm starting to think we're seeing acts of violence I don't think we saw 30 years ago. Now, okay, that you go back to the Moors murders, that was before I was born. Yeah. But, in the news today, we've got not only the Southport killings, we've got this crossbow murder as well, if that's what it is. We wait to see the court case, which is a horrifying act.
You talk. I think the legal definition of innocent by reason of insanity is that the person is not aware of what they are doing. And this man was aware of what he was doing, as is the crossbow killer that you just mentioned.
But the crossbow killer was this man I don't know, Valdo Calacane. The defence seems to be that he was in a psychotic episode. The comeback to that is, wait a minute, you had an enormous knife. At some point, I'm talking about Calacane here, you weren't in a psychotic episode. You must have looked at the knife and thought, why have I got that?
So many instances with Calacane where people had said they were worried about his behaviour, but also on the night he went out to kill, he stalked people and he went after them. So, there were many chances to catch
It's very difficult, I think, for victims' families when they don't get a murder conviction after an event like this.
And for society as a whole, I think.
Yeah,
we all
that's what
want
happened
to
with
believe
Calacane.
it like it's black and white.
When these guys
they
get an indefinite stay in a hospital, that could be 4 years, which is nothing.
No,
it
not
can be.
in
I'm sorry,
this kind of
one
case.
guy was released after 4 years who got an indefinite hospital stay because some psychologist said he's perfectly fine.
All right, we're jumping ahead here because we don't even know who the suspect is at this stage. After the break, we'll take more of your calls on what's happened in Southport. Now more calls on Southport, 0207 862 2222. Let's mention the Taylor Swift fundraiser. Christina's in Wiltshire. Christina, you set this up, I gather.
I did, yes.
Because you were you were moved by what you saw, were you?
Completely. We ran a Taylor Swift fundraiser on Facebook. We've been active Swifties for many years now, and we knew we had to do something, but we wanted to do something that meant that we'd be keeping a respectful distance, which is why we set up the fundraiser and why it's really important for us for everyone to know that if you click on the link, you can see that it goes directly to Older A. It doesn't come to me and Holly in any way. It goes directly to the hospital and to the charity, to be working on.
All right, listen, I can't. The line is not very good, and I think I can leave it there. We've shown the appeal, but thank you very much, Christina. Sorry that it was cutting in and out. Mark is in Lancashire. Hi, Mark.
Morning, Jeremy, on the panel.
Morning.
Yeah, it's still not. We can't use the word good at the moment, can we? Because of this awful thing. What do you make of it all?
Well, my thoughts and condolences go out to all the families and everyone affected around this, obviously. My point that I want to make is it's about, the ex-Twitter or whatever it's called. You call it
X. That thing.
So why all these false hate statements come out, which rally people together? Why aren't X or Twitter taking these down straight away? And they say they can do it within half an hour, but by that time, it's been shared 1,000 times.
I know. It's one of the great mysteries of life is that you can have... And I've had stuff on there about me, which has been libelous, and I've got the person who posted it to take it down. But if I've gone to Twitter, their response often, and this is true all over, is we're getting 1 billion tweets a second. How on earth are we supposed to police that? That's what they say, literally. And then you say to them, well, yeah, but if it's still up a week later and someone's complained, you can take it down.
Yes, well, the answer...
And the answer is they can police it, actually.
Of course they can police it. And these tech companies are making millions upon millions of pounds and dollars, and they don't have the regulation. I mean, I'm not in favour of massive regulations for anything, but on this show or on the BBC where I used to work, or the newspapers where you were, we're all subjected to such... We can't just say anything and get away with it. They can say what they want. They make millions and millions from it. They like it because they want it to be as exciting and fruity and as out there as possible. Yeah, they do. And they don't put the resources into stopping it.
They will take things down, but often you can complain about something and you find they've said this doesn't breach our rules. But Mark, more to the point, there's an easy way of them deciding to look carefully at any tweets that mention Southport before they put them live on the site, and they didn't do it.
I understand it's very difficult, but if there was no social media, there wouldn't have been a riot last night.
You're so right, absolutely 100%. Thank you, Mark, very much. And we one investigation suggests it came from a so-called bot farm in Russia, because Russia just wants as much instability as possible. Gary is in Liverpool. Gary, I gather you lost your son.
Yeah, I lost my son, James Furlong, in the Forbury Gardens attack, where, along with his friends, Joe and David, they were killed in a stabbing incident, which was, at the time, that was a terrorist attack. There was 3 other people injured.
I'm so sorry. So that was what appeared to be random, did it, at the time?
It was a person who'd been out of prison a week who had spent 6 days planning the attack. So it was random in the case that, unfortunately, they were the people, what you say, were sitting in that position who were chosen. It was as we just come out of lockdown, and 6 people were allowed to meet in the gardens. And
I do remember it because it happened in Reading, didn't it? Yeah, I remember this very well.
Gary, you must know what those parents in Southport have to face now, because you've faced it yourself. I mean, are you coping with it?
They're going to have a very, very long journey now. Obviously, when this happens, we massively feel the pain. I mean, James was 36 and a school teacher, had a history in politics, and but to imagine that pain of losing James at the age of 6, 7, 8 would have been absolutely. I mean, we get by day by day. He's never out of our thoughts. It's so much a horrific way to lose a child. we all lose family to illnesses and accidents, but this way is the cruelest way to lose
Just
someone.
so sudden. Gary, thank you
Yeah.
very much. And I know these kinds of events bring it all back. Tom is in Southport. Tom, you've got a friend in the hospital.
I've got a friend who actually assisted at the incident. He wasn't injured, thankfully. It was actually more towards the incidents of last night that I was calling about.
Go on.
With it not actually being any of the local town members, or well, for the vast majority. And the clean-up operation that's gone on today has been great, seeing everyone band together. The road itself, now that the main incidents happened on, the road, the wall of the mosque is currently being rebuilt by a local company. There's all the debris has been cleaned up.
So Tom, just to be clear, they attacked a mosque, did they?
Well, that was their intention, yeah. So it seems it was like when the Southport Mosque, they're all congregated outside. A massive police response. Police, this was going on till about 2 a.m. I could hear the helicopter outside, so the police helicopter.
And what we've heard is that those people, and you'll know this, were not from Southport. They've been bussed in or something.
Of course, there will have been some locals there, but the vast majority, from what you can see on videos, etc., it's just not the mentality of Southport. The local police officers were actually trying to help save our girls the day before this, and then they're being attacked, seriously attacked. The following day. It's an absolute disgrace.
It's bizarre. Thank you very much indeed. It's like sort of the equivalent of flying pickets, aren't they? That they're looking for trouble, and they just head for the town where they can.
You 1 minute, the reporters were saying you're smelling the fragrance from all the hundreds of flowers that are left. The next minute, you got the acrid smell of a police van on fire and a mob initiating a riot and cheering when the police are being injured.
They've had to spend a day with this clear-up operation, which should never have been
all
necessary.
they need to happen now. Yeah, exactly. The last thing they need.
Thank you. Thanks for all your calls.